What is up, everybody? It is Daniel Zuniga from Couch Potato Football Coverage, and today we have long snapper Josh Wojciechowicz. I got that right?
Yes, sir.
Yes, the long snapper from Colorado School of Mines in Golden, Colorado. How you doing today?
I'm doing good. How are you today?
I'm doing pretty damn good. I mean, not as good as you. I mean, you're on the verge of your NFL dream. Some reports have suggested that you have met with as many as 28 of the NFL teams. Can you talk a little bit about what the experience has been like?
Yeah, I mean it's been a blessing. Always give all praise and glory to our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. All the things that He's done for me has been awesome. But yeah, this opportunity has been amazing. I mean, coming from a Division II school, you're not at the spotlight. Now, of course, I had the pleasure and the privilege of getting to play in some high profile games of the national championship. Actually, wearing my national championship hat now. So that's been really awesome. But getting to actually sit down and like get to live things that you dream as of a child, getting to talk to teams, getting to interview with them, like give my experiences to some of these scouts has been a complete journey, a complete blessing.
Well, and you had an amazing pro day as well. If I got these numbers correct, you measured in at 6'2", 240 pounds, a 4.940, a 32-inch vertical, 9.4 broad jump, and 21 reps at the bench. So, what did you want to prove, and do you feel like you accomplished that during your pro day?
Yeah, I mean, as a competitor, I always feel like I can do better. Some of those numbers I was trying to get a little bit higher on, but you just gotta kind of do what you do, right? I had a day where I had to go out and perform. I did the best that I could for that day. I'm proud of a lot of those numbers. But I continually try to tell every team that I've talked to, if you're willing to take me and give me an opportunity, not only do I feel that I can throw the ball with the best one, that I'll be one of the best cover athletes in this class, and I'm hoping that's what those numbers are showing. That not only can I get back and block, but I can actually be of service, down in the cover game.
Well, in this past season, you had 4 solo tackles. The year before, I believe you even forced a fumble. No, I think you do offer a lot. I mean, way beyond, of course, because long snapping, right? It's timing. You have to be precise, accurate, consistency. And can you talk a little bit about the work or how you fine tune your craft, training wise and practice?
Yeah, so a lot of it is, specialists as a whole are um, very specific spots, right? It's not just just going out there relying on a lot of athletic ability, although that definitely helps. All throughout high school and through college, I stayed with Coles, kicking, punting, and snapping. Their divisions really kind of helped kind of perfect as much as one can that craft of snapping, breaking down mechanics, looking at kind of how you progress as you continue to snap, and that's really where I go to for a lot of my mechanics work. I went to a guy, Gary Zorner, a few times. He helped a lot with my blocking. Just trying to go to the guys that have the big name, have been in that situation, have gotten to train a lot of the guys in the league. Kind of where did a lot of the greats go, and trying to emulate things that they did. But yeah, a lot of it's just spending a lot of time with my specialist coach, Scott Groner, at Mines, taking time with him, getting some of my buddies to come rush me, trying to give me a look of what's going to be more difficult than what I would see in a game. Just trying to do everything that I can to stress myself when it's easy, so that way when I'm in the hard part in a game, that I'm not overthinking. I'm just kind of going out there doing. The great 3 point shooters aren't just going out there thinking about aim at the rim, aim at the rim. They're just kind of doing their thing, and that's really kind of the approach that you try to take in your preparation. Is like when you're in the game, is you're not thinking, you're just doing.
No, and I would like to ask, just as a curious football fan, especially on the punts, right? So on the on kicks, like field goal attempts, the holder, like the kicker, will be like, "Hey, can you put the laces out, laces in, or laces this way?" And the
Mhm.
holder is going to do that. I'm curious, on punts, is it more of just get it to me like in my hands, or they want it in a specific way? Can you talk a little bit about that exchange, and also the chemistry that you have to have on with the punter, with the kicker, and the holder, who's most of the time the punter?
Yeah, definitely. On punt specific, it is kind of like what you said. It's not really kind of how the laces are hitting your hands. It's more about just getting the ball in the right spot, and giving them a good spiral. I mean, at the end of the day, right? My job isn't to be well known. My job is to kind of go unknown. The last few years, I've had the privilege of snapping with a great friend, Blake Dowd, who's now at Alabama. Um, getting to kind of like live in his shadow has been awesome because all of his awards are my awards in a sense of saying like, I was able to deliver him the ball where he wanted it every time that I could, and it just makes his job a lot easier. So if you're throwing a bad spiral, it makes it that much harder. Your punter's really thinking about catching that ball. And it's kind of taking them off of their game. So like trying to be as seamless as you can in the punt game, trying to put it on a hip, trying to put it on his stomach, his chest, wherever he wants it. My punter really liked the ball a lot higher, more at his chest if we were doing an end over end punt. Whereas if it was just kind of go down the field, it was a lot more of the stomach. So trying to like get that chemistry, trying to build that friendship, build that trust with your punter is huge. And then again, he was also my holder. That's very, very common. And finding out again where he wants it. He's definitely more. He was a wide receiver convert. So keeping that ball, obviously not putting it on the ground is a great thing to do. But just giving him a very catchable ball that makes his job a lot easier. Holding is not the easiest thing in the world, but if I can make it to where all he has to do is catch it and drop that nose right down on the ground, like then I can do the best that I can, so that his job's the easiest, and then we get to live vicariously through our kicker at that point.
And for the fools out there who don't know, you attended the Hula Bowl, then you went to the Shrine Bowl. That's where you got on my radar. And I was talking to somebody over there who was familiar with your game. And of course, and I was not surprised to hear this, but he said you're a smart cookie. And if do I have this correct that you have your master's in chemical engineering, or you're obtaining it right now?
So no, I'm currently this is the last actually a couple weeks of the semester for my master's in nuclear engineering.
Nuclear engineering.
Yes,
Wow,
sir.
that's incredible. But was there any pre-snap recognition that went into your job? Like when you're out there, of course, was pre-snap something that you did a lot?
It was something that I like to do just because of where something that Mines is very, very proud of is we're not the best athletes on the field at all times. I mean, that would be it would be great if we were, but most of the time we are not. So trying to always kind of know what our opponents are going to do is something that we kind of lived through in these last few years. Having a lot of success is because we have a lot of guys that aren't just, obviously good enough athletes to play at the level that we did, but also good enough in the classroom to really kind of understand, if I'm going to get beat just due to somebody's size or strength, like I have to be smarter than them. And so that's something that all of our coaches really, really harped on and stayed on top of us. So something that I did throughout my entire college journey was watching a lot of film, kind of finding out percentages of like who would rush me if I'm looking at a double A gap on both sides. For example, Mesa had a good scheme against me. Is it was basically whatever direction we were punting, as they were taking the opposite of that guy. So if we're punting right, who was in their left A gap, that's who is man up on me. And watching film and kind of trying to figure out what teams are going to do against me. What was really nice, because then when you're in the game, kind of getting back to that not thinking, having that understanding of like, all right, if there's a backer stacked over me, there's a almost 9 times out of 10 he's going to pick me up, and if I can beat him to a spot, then I have a better chance of getting down the field and being that first guy down, which I tried to pride myself on, trying to make that return, either fair catch it, fumble it, or try to get a tackle if I could.
And now that you're going to be, you're playing the game, but of course you grew up as a fan. Who would be on your Mount Rushmore of just your personal favorite players? Not the best of all time, but just players that were heroes to you.
Well, as a West Virginia kid, I have a very, very hard bias towards all WVU guys. So my biggest inspiration growing up was Pat White. He's obviously going to be anytime that I ever thought of football. Pat White was always the first guy that popped into my mind. He was somebody that I loved watching grow up back in the glory days of West Virginia. So I'll take 2 from college specifically, and I'll try to do 2 from the NFL.
Okay.
So definitely I would go Pat White, and then that other spot I'm either going to have to give to Tavon Austin, just because he was just an absolute freak on the field. I mean, I remember watching there was a play on the goal line against Oklahoma. That was just my dad and I were watching it, and he juked out like 3 guys, and we literally just looked at each other. We're like, I don't know how he did that, but we'll take it. And then from the NFL. I wasn't huge into the NFL growing up in West Virginia. We didn't really have a team. Tom Brady's an easy one. I mean, you talk about mentality alone and kind of work ethic that kind of precedes your accomplishments. I think Tom Brady is obviously an excellent example of that. And then other than that, it's going to be like a high flyer, really good defensive person. I mean, that can kind of go to anybody. I think Luke Kuechly probably is another great that when I think of for me specifically, like kind of who bridged that gap of like trying to play football as methodically as you can and athletically as you can. I think Luke Kuechly would probably have to go up there, the number 4 spot for me.
No, yeah, and I was talking to this Packers media guy, and we were talking about Tom Brady. No disrespect to Tom Brady. I mean, he's clearly the
Mhm.
best of all time, and I'm a Broncos fan. For the longest time, I said Peyton Manning was the best of all time, but that was like then Tom Brady won like 3 more Super Bowls, so debate's over. But Tom Brady and Peyton Man, I mean, specifically Tom Brady, right? He didn't have elite arm strength. He didn't have the strongest arm out there, but he beat everybody with all the knowledge that he had about the game. And Luke Kuechly was the same way. I mean, God, playing Madden with this guy like on the computer sim, it's just like he's always changing plays, changing this, changing that. The Panthers and the Broncos, watching Peyton Manning and Luke Kuechly go at it with just their knowledge of the game and the chess match, it's always an incredible thing to do. And as a jiu-jitsu guy, I don't know if you've ever done jiu-jitsu before, but they always teach, um, uh, like beat somebody with your brain. It's not about how strong you are. And it's so funny
Mhm.
because gosh, my professor is a 5'4", 120-pound woman, and she can destroy me and anybody that comes inside because she beats everybody. She knows how the body works and she knows like what to do. It's not
Mhm.
about strength. And but anyways, yes. Yeah, so the next question I would like to ask you is about your football journey. I mean, you got started in West Virginia. How did you choose the School of Mines, and what has your experience over there been like? I mean, obviously it went pretty well.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, it's easy to look at the accomplishments of it and look at it, but at first, truthfully, I was smaller coming out of high school, so I didn't even know if football was going to be an opportunity for me. Long snapping specifically was a way when I was in high school, growing super late into my high school career of just a way to get on the field. It wasn't really kind of my main focus of like, hey, this is how I'm going to get into college.
Mhm.
But coming out of high school, my dad worked with a company called PDC Energy, which was an oil and gas company, and they hired a lot of engineers from mines. I mean, I don't know when, but they moved their headquarters from Bridgeport, West Virginia, where I grew up, out to Denver. And obviously, in the engineering world, I mean, mines is like worldly known for its mining degrees, its petroleum. Chemie is fantastic. All degrees, obviously, that you're really looking for in that oil and gas realm. So about eighth grade is when I first found out about the school.
Mhm.
I was one of those weirdos that was always into math and science, so I wanted to be an engineer basically since I could really sit down and think about what I want to do since a kid. So I was looking at the school for a really long time. Was very fortunate enough to get a scholarship and get accepted into the school, and it was just an automatic yes. It was one of those things of, we're going to put all our eggs into this basket. Like, I'm going for the degree, and football is just a plus, and that's the way that I've looked at it my entire life. Of God allowed me to play another 5 years at my time at Mines. It's nothing but a blessing. I can't put too much stress on myself because I'm here for my degree, and it's just been awesome because I got to play in some fantastic games. I got to meet some of the best people in the world. Both pushed me academically in my faith, athletically, and it was just such a blessing to come out here. And all I can look back for is just having just like praying and asking God, like, what am I supposed to do here? What degree, like, where am I supposed to go? He opened up minds, and it was the best decision that I ever made.
And is there any teammates, any professors, coaches, anybody that you like to shout out that's been so instrumental in your journey thus far?
Yeah, I mean, as I mentioned, Scott Groner, my special teams coach, has been an absolute blessing. He is, I like to say, he's one of my biggest fans and one of my biggest haters at the same time, which is kind of needed. There's some times where maybe like I'm not really feeling it. Like it's in the middle of the off season. I'm tired, and he's like, "Hey, when are you gonna come snap?" I'm like, coach, I got class," and he goes, "I don't care." So having somebody like that is really awesome. All the professors in my department of my masters have been phenomenal. And during this process, I mean, the first, good lord, I don't know, 6 weeks of school, I missed probably a combined 3.5 weeks of classes, and they've been absolutely amazing. Specifically, shouting out one, Mark Jensen, Dr. Jensen, who is kind of our program head, has been phenomenal kind of in facilitating this in between all the players that have been helping me. I mean, recently, excuse me, recently, all the guys rushing me, Jaden Healy, Adrian Moreno, Hayden Gregg have been awesome and kind of pushing me to, uh, working on my anchor, working on my blocking steps. Blake Dowd, Matt Ike, all the specialists that I got to work with throughout these years have been awesome. Like there's not, I could go on and on about basically every guy on this team and what they've done for me. Whether they realize it or not, like how they've helped me in these last 5 years and more specifically even in this last few months.
Perfect. That's fantastic. And as we were talking before we started recording, I'm the man of faith as well. And if you guys want to follow him, he posts some great verses every day, and it's really helped me grow. And so again, thank you so much. And the last question, like football based, before we get to some of the fun questions, is obviously I found so fascinating this process. I mean, I knew it before, but some people that I met in this business, one guy in specific was like, dude, I ask every single prospect what their senior quote was, and that is such a big like deterrent for me of like what I think of this player and what they could be. And it's so crazy because they'll take a lot of this personal information and they'll like that's really their go-to's of how they differentiate prospects. Not like what's the most controversial thing somebody has asked you in this process, but what is something that sticks out in your mind of like, oh, that's weird. Like did someone ask, oh, are you good at Jenga, or hey, are you good at coloring? Like, is there any questions that were kind of a little out there that you're like, oh, I never expected an NFL team to be asking me that?
I don't think I've gotten too many of those. I want to say during one of the interviews there was a question that I was like, "Oh, wow." And it's slipping me at the moment. But you definitely get some questions. I mean, obviously, as an engineer, the number one thing that you always get is, "Oh, you must be really good at math." And in a joking sense, I always kind of laugh like, if mine has taught me one thing, it's that I'm really really bad at high level math. So it's always that guy, that kind of give and take of like, oh, you must be really good at math. And yeah, in a sense, I am, but in the engineering world, I'm not amazing. Good lord, I can't. That's a really good question though. There was somebody that hit me with something where I was like, oh my gosh, I never even thought about that. I think darts is one that I've gotten a few times just because it's that repetitive motion, kind of like how snapping
Dart.
is.
Okay.
But yeah, I want to say there was one at the shrine that I got asked that like I truly like sat for like 2 minutes. I was like, I gotta think of an answer. So if I can think of that, I'll definitely let you know. But at the moment, it's slipping me.
No, for sure, for sure. And I don't want to brag, but I got my degree in multimedia journalism, but I was a mechanical engineering major my first year. I got good grades, but I mean, there were some nights, oh God, Calc 1 and 2, just like figure because they used to have like this thing at the University of New Mexico with some of like the graduate students, and they would help the undergraduates with the math problems. But sometimes they couldn't figure it out. So we'd just be there for hours and hours and hours. But there was that satisfaction when you finally figured it out, or you went to your professor like, I can't figure this out, and then you find it, you're like, oh, I get it now. Like
Mhm.
there's a lot of satisfaction with that. But now to get on to some fun questions. First off, what is your karaoke song? Like your
What is my
go-to
career?
karaoke song?
I think, I mean, as a West Virginia kid, the easy answer is Country Roads. I mean, that's something that hits home every single time it plays, and I'll never not sing it. But then, if you're being more broad, I mean, basically any classic early thousands white girl song is something that you got to know from heart. So,
It's yep.
"Party in the USA," like things like that. I mean, they're just easy to kind of latch on to.
No, for sure. And then what is your go-to spot for eating in the bowl in either I'm sorry, not Boulder, the Golden or like Denverish area, and in your hometown in West Virginia? Like what are your go-to spots?
Yeah, for me, ooh, let's see. The number one kind of thing that when anyone comes to Golden, the easy answer is saying go to Woody's because it is a really good pizza spot. That pizza buffet is great, and I don't want to ever downplay Woody's specifically. However, my number one thing, anytime that I'm talking to somebody and they're like, "Hey, I'm going to Golden. Like, where should I try?" I always tell them Bonfire Burritos. It's this breakfast burrito place right by campus, and it is phenomenal. I mean, there isn't enough times that I can have that. So Golden specific, I'm definitely going to say Bonfire Burritos.
Okay.
And then back home, West Virginia, I've yet to find a lot of really good Italian places out in Colorado. But
Mhm.
Italian back home in West Virginia, especially being kind of in that area where we had a lot of Italian immigrants, Italian food is so good there. Mia Margarita was a spot that had some of the best food I ever had in my life. I do that is a place. Anytime I go back to West Virginia, I'm always stopping there. They have some amazing food, just amazing authentic food. And you talk about pizza as well. They do the whole um, coal fire pizzas. So you know you're getting authentic pizzas, you're getting authentic pastas. Something that if anybody is watching from the Golden area that has an Italian spot, please start making caprese salads. I've yet to find one anywhere that I go, and that was one of my favorites to get back home.
Have you seen there's a movie it was on Netflix. It's like one of my favorite Christmas movies. It's called The Feast of the Seven Fishes. Have you seen that movie before?
I
Holiday
don't think
movie?
so.
It's either I'm sorry, I don't mean like West Virginia or Pennsylvania, but it's like it's a mining town, and there's a lot of Italian, descent, like people, families living there, and then like the whole movie is this romantic thing, but it's cool because it shows that side of like that there's a big Italian influence over there. It's such a phenomenal movie. If you like movies, it's fantastic. But anyways, nonetheless, what is your favorite movie or favorite TV show, either or? I think I already asked you this, but still, maybe
Yeah,
you watched
we'll do
like
it again.
Barbie in the last month, and that's your new favorite.
Favorite movie's rough, just because there's so many different genres, so many different good films. That's always kind of year to year it's going to slightly change. But I think the big ones that always pop in my head, as of recent, I love Oppenheimer. I know I said that a few times. I adore that movie. Some people say it's too long. Some people say it's this or it's that. I love that movie. Um, and then, but the other one that I watched for the first time, I know, shame on me. The first time I watched it was spring of 23. And I want to say I've seen it 3 times since then. And every time it is just, in my opinion, it's probably the most overall well sculpted, perfect movie. Has got to be Good Will Hunting. Um,
Oh,
Love that movie. And then TV show wise, I mean, there's a few. But if you ask my friends to take a guess on what my favorite TV show is, they're going to say Invincible on Amazon Prime. I watched the first season a little bit after it came out, and then being a nerd, went to mine, so I got accepted. I may or may not have all 144 comics in my room, so
no, that's awesome. No, I Oppenheimer and Good Will Hunting. No, there's still like there's just so many movies out there. I just watched 2001: A Space Odyssey for the first time, and I was like, oh, this is incredible. There's just so many movies to get around to. But no, Good Will Hunting is excellent. And when you said that you're meeting with teams, they knew that you're an engineer. I thought they were gonna just like put math questions on a big board and like solve it, prove it, something like that. But no, and then the last one's gonna be just besides football, besides engineering, is there anything else that you do that maybe some people will be surprised to know? Like, do you play with Legos? Do you collect hats? Anything like that?
I mean, a little niche, but not too kind of specific. I play guitar. I've gotten to play a few times at my college ministry through Soulco and the Salt Network. I've gotten to play a few times on the band there. So guitar is something I picked up during COVID, like a lot of people, and it's something that I guess would be a little more specific. But that's a lot of teams are asking like, "Oh, what are you doing in your free time?" And that's an easy answer. Like obviously, video games are such a common answer, but just kind of like that relaxing, kind of just like sit back and just let it flow. Like playing guitar has been an awesome hobby that I picked up.
No, another one of the best decisions of my life. I had $100. I was living in the dorms in college, and I was supposed to buy groceries, but I ended up buying this ukulele right here, and it's been the best decision of my life. I'm like, oh,
Oh,
Riptide all the time. But anyways, thank you so much for your time. Where can the people find you? Where can the people keep up with your journey as you journey into the NFL?
yeah. I mean, anything Minds related, it'll be easy to find me there on Instagram. Had to make it hard on everybody, so it's just my last name underscore my first name, so Wojciechowicz underscore Josh. That's really about where I'm most active. I have a Twitter that I don't ever use with a name that you make when you're 12 years old and you think is cool, Wojinator 32. Now I have to live with that for the rest of my life. Um, but yeah, I mean, just I'm a pretty low key guy. I don't do too much on social media, but if you want to pop a follow on Instagram, like Daniel said, I try to post verse every day. Something that I'm trying to grow my faith daily. It's something that you can never be strong enough in, and anybody has any questions, I would love to talk theology, anything like that.
Well, perfect. No, you're a phenomenal draft prospect, and good luck next week. And oh, I'm sorry, there is one more question. How are you going to spend draft day? What are you going to be doing? Where are you going to be?
Actually, one of my best friends growing up is getting married, so I'll be back in West Virginia. Get to be with some family. So kind of on that day, third day, when more than likely, if it happens, will be then. I'll be with family and I'll be with friends, so it'll be a good experience.
Perfect. Awesome. Well, again, thank you so much and good luck, of course, during this big time in your life, and to your best friend who's getting married. That's not
Yes.
an easy thing to do at all. So, thank you guys so much for watching. We'll have more prospects coming here in the future.